Hello, hello.
Hi there,
Welcome.
everybody. I can't
Scoot
see
this
myself
around
at
and
all.
get
There
you a
we
little
go.
closer.
Okay, there. Now I can.
Too far that now. I'm still too far in the corner. There, that's a little
That
better.
works. There you go. Gotta have that balance, you know. Gotta have that balance.
I can't cut your head off from my shoulder.
That's right. Hello, folks. How you doing? Hope you're having a good Sunday.
Welcome, welcome.
Hope everything is all right in your world. Relatively okay in ours, I'd say, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely think so, yes. We're certainly better off than the folks in Louisiana.
No kidding. Our hearts and thoughts and prayers, especially today, for those of you who know the Broussard family. Kate's been in touch with Amy pretty closely over the last few days, and it seems they've come through this storm relatively unscathed. At least they
Again.
still have a house. I'm told they don't have any power, but they do have a generator, so they can keep their essentials going. Hopefully, maybe one of them will be able to drop by here today and kind of let us all know how they're doing. I've certainly been thinking about them a lot over the last few days. What an awful scenario of events to have to go through literally 2 hurricanes within about, 3 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's just more than a body ought to be asked to bear. So we're really, really pleased and grateful to the Lord that they seem to have come through this. Brent was saying that down by the bayou, which is apparently one of the borders of their property, the flooding was certainly evident.
Right.
But structurally,
halfway
they
up
seem
the
to have gotten through it okay. They didn't lose their roof or their house.
Although they do have a little bit of water damage because their roof was damaged in the last hurricane, and they had a tarp, but they had not started the repair. So there was a little bit of water damage, but not too bad.
Well, that's by and large that's fixable, but just
Considering folks right there near them lost their entire home.
yeah. So
I know that Amy and Brett are very thankful to the Lord that they are safe and that most everything is there. So hello, hello. When you come in, please sign in. Let us know who's here. We've got 2 thumbs up already.
We seem to be talking to the ether right now. So
Ahmad, hello, welcome. It's good to see you. You're the first one here for a change.
wow.
Hi, Christy.
Hi,
good
Christy.
to see you.
And Ahmad too. Hi to
Ellie,
you.
hi.
Ellie, hi.
Yeah, we've been thinking about the Broussards. I've been texting them a lot. Hi, Lisa Johnson. It's good to see
Hello,
you.
Lisa. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, they didn't have, the only electricity they have is on their generator, and we don't know if they have internet or not, so we don't know if they'll be able to check in today. We're hoping. So we just keep praying that the Lord keeps his hand on them and continues to provide for them as he
Yeah,
has.
for sure. It just seems like Mother Nature has been slapping the crap out of us lately, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really has.
Especially here in the south and the southeast. Just been hammering. Well, I can't even say that.
In
Far
the Gulf
west with
Coast states.
all the fires they've had out west and the hurricanes in the east and chaos in the middle.
It's just been crazy all the way around. Bless their hearts.
They have been through it. That's very true. They have been through it, Christy.
There's been one sort of blessing for them. Brett has been struggling for quite a while now with a hernia. And he, just 2 or 3 days before this latest one hit, he went to the doctor, and the doctor took him off of active duty until he can have the hernia surgery done and it be healed. So, hi, Lisa Clark.
Hi, Lisa.
So he was able to actually be with his family during this second hurricane. And they were able to pack their animals and their family and all, and they went to a little place just over the Texas border. Hi, Irene.
Hello,
good to see you.
Irene? Is that
Irene.
right? Irene, hi.
So they were not even in the area, and apparently the eye passed right over their house. They had electric power during a good portion of the storm, and they had security cameras mounted, so they were able to keep track of it until right after the eye went over, and then they lost power, so of course they couldn't watch anymore. But When they got home, they were very pleased that they did not have massive damage like so many people had.
Ahmad's asking, do you know what Manuka honey is? Or
Yes, Ahmad, I have tasted it. I don't buy it because it's very expensive, and I don't need what it's supposed to provide other than sweets, and we have our own beehive, so we'll get them from them. Pardon me. I'll grab a quick sip here.
How are you doing today, Lisa? Everything all right in your world? Or at least tolerable?
And Christy, how is your family doing? Are they getting better? Is the COVID getting better with
good
them?
question. Yeah. Good coffee today too, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Very good.
I made a new pot for you. It really seems
I can usually tell.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, I mean, it's not a big difference, but
As much coffee as we drink, it's easy to learn.
yeah.
This is holding about the same. Well, that is good news if you
at least
consider
there's
that she could be getting worse.
if
So.
there's no deterioration, I guess that's improvement by definition, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I'm very pleased. I'm going to put her back on the prayer list. I like to do a new prayer list each week and then go back through and check and see which were answered and which were not. Try to add the new ones back in. So.
Well, they all get answered, just some of them don't get answered in ways we can perceive.
Right.
Once I figured out God knew how to say yes, no, maybe,
Right.
or not right now, I was a whole lot better off.
Yeah, at least now you know you're getting an answer. It may not be the
Yeah,
one
I
you
just
want,
know-
but you know you're getting an answer.
I know he hears me, and I know he answers me. I don't hear the answers, but sooner or later, I'm usually aware of the answer.
Mhm.
So it took me a long time to figure out that it might be a long time
Ahmad,
before the Lord answers a prayer.
we use elderberry to guard against the viruses here. The Broussards put together a packet of elderberry, dried elderberries themselves, and several different spices, and we make it into a syrup, and we take 1 ounce shot of it every morning.
Every day, I get a shot of. Kate brings me a shot every day,
And
and it helps with my COPD. That's the main reason I take it.
it has several things that it helps
Yeah,
with
it's
his
got a lot of-
COPD, and also it fights virus infections, and it
Mhm.
also helps with inflammation. So we both try and take it every day. He gets it every day for sure. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I forget for me.
Lisa said she's hanging in there for an old bird. Yeah,
I'm sorry, do what?
Lisa said she was hanging in there for an old bird. So,
Hi,
Bird-
Michelle. Good to see you.
bird is a very appropriate reference around this house. So.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Hello,
you know,
Brad.
Ahmad, there's 100 things that somebody is going to advise you to take every day. What we have to do as individuals is just pick and choose those that we feel are giving us the best benefit for either what we're spending for them or how much trouble it takes to get a hold of it. I'm
Irene,
perfectly happy with my elderberry syrup.
Irene, I don't take the Johnny Walker Red because I only have one kidney, and I'm trying to keep it healthy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, Irene. You go back to all of these quote studies that they've done over the years where one time they'll come out and say a shot of alcohol is good for you every day, or a shot of alcohol is bad for you every day, or whatever's in wine is good for the system or bad for the system. It just depends on who you want to listen to.
Got all the way down to where eggs were bad for you for a while, and now
Yeah.
they're good for you again.
Yep, butter.
Just
You know-
kidding, can't afford it. Jane Goodall, the primatologist, does. Oh, well, I'm glad she's doing well.
I had heard that she's got to be a wonderful old lady. You know,
I would
that,
think so.
I mean, my God, look at the life she's led, you know, living out there with those primates all those years and everything.
And look at how dedicated she
Well,
is.
yeah,
Her
but
life
she's-
must be very fulfilling.
She's definitely got her own way of doing things, you know.
Yeah.
But there for a while now, the other thing too is
Kevin's here, Big Wave, Florida.
Hi, Kevin.
It's wonderful to see you. Planting tomatoes?
Planting tomatoes.
Yep. It's not quite that hot here, Kevin. It's about in the mid 80s right now.
Irene, I agree. She has been a godsend to the animal awareness and animal conservation causes over the years. She enjoys a very special status. The things that she's done and pioneered in are just areas that fascinate me. Number one, primate intelligence is extremely interesting, and seeing how chimps and apes and orangutans and all other kinds of monkeys, how they live in communes and how they function socially is very interesting.
I understand that, Christy.
Yeah. Might throw something out of alignment. Yeah, I heard that
Ahmad,
too.
we don't talk politics on this channel.
Ahmad, whoever you want, just please keep it to yourself.
Hello, Josh. Good to see you.
Hey, Josh.
If it's not processed food, then it has to be good for us, right? Well, maybe.
There's some things that are, there are some processes that don't hurt food. I mean, pasteurizing milk is not a bad thing. Homogenizing milk is not a bad thing.
By the way, Lisa, homesteading is a state of mind as much as it is the processes you go through. And you can homestead anywhere. So don't say you can't. You're doing it. You're just not having a big bunch of land or a bunch of wild livestock or whatever.
Josh, we haven't really come up with any specific topic yet today. Just we were talking about the Broussards and all the issues they've been having with hurricanes, and kind of morphed over into
I agree, Christy.
some of our what we take in terms of supplements or foods and all that. But no politics. I can't go there. That's all there is to it. I just can't.
It's just too much craziness.
It drives me crazy, and it makes my gut block up, and I just don't want to do it.
And we both become not nice to be around when we start talking about politics.
I try just to. It's an effort. It really is an effort, but I try to stay away from it as much as I possibly can.
I do too.
Oh yeah, see them too. Yeah, them too.
I got them up a little
That's
early today,
their
so they may
opinion.
be noisy.
That's their political opinion right there. They just scream their lungs out, which is what I'd like to do. So I guess it is appropriate.
Now, Josh, it doesn't take an election to just get me fired up on the wrong subject, and I become not nice to be around.
Yeah, I
I
just
try very hard not to get involved in that kind of discussion. Have I heard from Brett and Amy? Michelle, we were just talking about that. Yes, we have heard from them. They got back into town. They left town. Brett is off of active duty right now with the fire department, so they left and went to Texas for safety. They got back into town Saturday afternoon to discover that that they did not have a lot of damage. There was a little bit, mostly it was water damage from the hole in the roof from the last hurricane, and some flooding at the back of their property where they have a bayou, but there was nothing really back there other than plants and trees, so that was not a problem. Ahmad, please, we don't talk about
we don't vote.
politics and
We
voting
don't
here.
vote until the 3rd of November, son. So
Yeah.
until then, we all just kind of keep our own counsel. Lisa,
You're
coming
moving
to El Paso.
Paso, that's exciting.
That is so cool. And not that your health is declining,
No, but that you're going
but
to
that
get
it's
to
going
move
to
to
be
El
good.
Paso.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Michelle. Yeah, neither one of us prefer to talk about politics. Politics are not what they should be, and they're not what they used to be, and I just truly don't want to be involved. Yeah, Christy, they do have a generator. They were gifted a generator through an anonymous person right after the last hurricane, and it's really helping them a lot. They also purchased a small window air conditioner so that when they're on the generator, they can at least cool the area. The big room is what they call it. It's the kitchen, dining room, and living room area. Their home is a very open area there.
Probably where they're all crashing at night in this heat.
Yeah, That's where they could sleep
Yeah.
at night and where
Thank
they have
you,
all their
Ahmad.
clothes and spend most of their time. So thanks, Ahmad. I appreciate it. Let's see. Julie Nelson, the 2 things you never want to see made. I would have to think about that one, Julie. I'm not sure.
Is that a question or a statement?
Hello, Mr. Paul.
From
It's good
Spain.
to
Hi.
see you.
What part of Spain are you in?
But,
What part of Spain?
oh, yes, he used to live in Spain.
Conozco algunas partes de España. He vivido en Madrid y Sevilla también.
It's 2 things I would never like to see.
Sausage and politicians. There you go.
I don't know. I really have to
Oh,
think
in
about
Granada. Wow. Granada, beautiful, beautiful area. Yep,
that. Josh Franklin says Spain is beautiful.
yep.
All the pictures I've seen of it, it is gorgeous.
Yeah, the area up around Granada is beautiful. Yeah, I've been to Rota several times. I used to have to go to Cadiz about once a month when I was stationed there in Sevilla. Part of my job was to go down and inspect the incoming ocean vessels that had sea
Freaky.
vans of food on it for our military bases in Spain. Food inspection was one of my jobs. So I would have to go down to Cadiz and go on board these generally foreign flag freighters and check all the refrigerator cars and the reefer units and all that stuff.
Happy Columbus Day. to
So
you
I
too,
got
Frankie.
to meet some very interesting people from all over the world. Denmark,
Hello, Iris.
Sweden, all kinds of countries have flags on their ships. And British, I got on with a British craft one time, and they invited me back for
Dinner.
tea in the afternoon, more or less. And we got to drinking, and I had some good times on some of those boats, I'll tell you that. But it was good. I'd have to go down there for 4 days at a time, maybe once a month.
By the way, excuse me, to
Uh-huh.
all of our Canadian friends, happy Thanksgiving. I understand that this weekend is Canadian Thanksgiving. Anna Lynn, I have not seen you in forever.
Anna
It's
Lynn.
so good to see you. Welcome. Been living in a
Hi
house for
there.
students since I started studying a month ago, and one of my housemates is good at gardening, so we have all kinds of herbs and vegetables. Oh, that's
Ah.
wonderful.
And Mr. Paul has been living in Granada for about 25 years. And apparently you run a bakery. Is that right? You've
No,
been
you got
running,
it cut, Freaky.
and he's been running a bakery for about
Yeah.
12 years before that. So, did I dye my hair or beard? No, it's just, it's gotten real long. So when it gets long, it really gets white.
But he did get his hair cut. So
But
since
I-
you were here last
But
year
I
on
need
the
it again, yeah. But if it's been a while, yeah, I did cut my hair some time ago. Yeah, Barcelona is beautiful. I didn't spend much time in Barcelona, but I did get up there into the northern part of Spain a bit. So I was all over the place. I had to go to all kinds of different companies and plants and things of that sort all over Spain. So I got to travel quite a bit.
Freaky, we've got chickens instead of turkeys. Weekend before last, or was it last weekend? I left on the 1st of October and went and spent 5 days with the Broussards between hurricanes.
When you
And we were able to dispatch and butcher and put up for the freezer 62 meat chickens. So I've got lots of chicken, no turkey. But I may get a small turkey for Thanksgiving. Usually we have been having big family Thanksgivings, but my mom and dad being 91 and they're both beginning to fail, we probably won't do that anymore. So I may have a small turkey for the 2 of us here and maybe take them a little turkey, although my dad doesn't really like turkey, so I'll do him a ham and her a turkey.
Paul, thank you for translating my mistranslation of your Spanish. It's been a
Oh.
long time, partner. It's been 35 years since I was there, so I spoke Spanish pretty well. I had to get out and about, and when we were in Sevilla, we lived on the economy, and
What happened to the Messi player? Amada, I'm not sure what you're asking. What is a
Yeah.
Messi player?
but spent 2 years down in Seville, and then later on in my career, after Franco was gone, I spent almost about 4.5 years up in Madrid. Really, really liked it. Loved it.
Thank you, Josh. I don't know, Freaky. Sometimes I think you're a player too.
Well, I think
I only have a small
you
freak.
hitting on my wife.
I only have a small freezer. Usually I can a lot of meat, but a little concerned about lid shortage. Christy, I was able to go to the dollar store and get the 12-pack of lids, not the Ball brand, but the 12-pack of lids for 75 cents a box, which is about what I paid before the shortages. The only thing you have to know about those is don't tighten your jars down too tight. Do the finger tight, and you'll have no problem. They don't buckle. They're fine for long-term storage, and they're fine for pressure canning. I've done them that way and had no problems. Amy does them that way and has no problems. And most everybody we know that does pressure cooking can use them. You just have to remember, a lot of people tend to crank down the lids and get them too tight. So check your dollar stores, check Walmart. Target has them from time to time. They're out there. You just have to look.
Christy, about guys walking around with machine guns, you'll see that. Well, that's all over Europe now, but back then that was probably the Guardia Civil. That was the national police, basically Franco's cops. And yeah, and they were some badass dudes too. They were badass. The remodeling is.
Yeah, he's talking about because there's so much remodeling going on there that there's lumber shortages and prices.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah. Well, just like we needed a freezer for Kate to go down to Louisiana and pick up those chickens. So I started calling around and dumbass me, I went to the big box stores and actually bought one online. Good deal, everything else. So then a day or so later, I call them up to arrange a delivery. Come to find out, it won't be in stock for delivery until February. Well,
they were having to take our money now.
Yeah. So I've had a little bit of a hissy fit over that one. And then Kate goes out here to one of our local stores, Appliance and something clearance house.
Appliance Outlet Liquidate.
Yeah, so they deal in seconds and dents and all that stuff. But we got a brand new one, got it delivered on time. Got it.
Hi, Celtic.
They brought it in. It's in perfect shape, still in the box.
Got the manufacturer's
got the warranty on it, everything.
Warranty.
So,
plus they do warranties as well. I've used them for many appliances over the years, and they're wonderful people, and they really, really do excellent job. They come back out if you need them without charging an arm and a leg. They usually have all the parts they need, and they keep They've kept my records since I started shopping with them almost 11 years ago. So if I have a problem with something I bought from them, I just say, you remember that Ventahood I bought from you? Well, I'm having problems. And they look it up on their computer and come out with everything that might need to repair for the age and my make and model. So It's great. Hello, Legacy Home and Garden. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you're right, Christy. It was Guardia Civil. And I'll tell you what, when I was living down in Seville, there was an occasion where Franco came to Sevilla, and his plane was landing shortly after I got off work. And our base was just immediately adjacent to the Seville International Airport, which we had actually built, the Americans built, and then the Spaniards took away from us. But that's another story. So anyway, I'm getting ready to drive off the base, go home. I get out to the main road, and about every 50 feet, all the way down, both sides of the road, this is a major 4-6 lane highway going right into Seville. Guardia Civil stand there with their guns, like every 50 feet, all the way into town. There must have been 1,000 of them. But boy, did they have that route covered. Whew. Okay, we're in shortage of supplies every day with my job. Fishing industry is far behind on supply. Most of my distributors tell me they don't expect anything until the first quarter of next year.
Legacy, my trip to Louisiana was wonderful. I left on the 1st and came back on the 5th. We were able to process 62 chickens. And I mean, that's everything from taking them off the ground and dispatching them all the way through. I will be publishing in the next few days a how-to video on how to properly cut up a chicken so that you can cook it or store it, that kind of thing. So it should be good. You still have
Paul, do they still wear their pillbox hats? I'm sure they do, but I was with a guy that tried to snatch one of those off of Gordius Seville's head. They have a very distinctive hat, the Gordius Seville does. It's like a hat like this, and then in the back, it's like patent.
I've seen those
It's
before.
like patent leather,
They
and
look
it
kind of like
stands up.
hunting hats with the flap up.
but they got it's stamped up at the back. And this
Mhm.
one night I was out partying with these guys, and this guy tried to knock one off of Gordius Seville's head. They beat the living crap out of that kid. Whew.
Kevin said
We
something
barely
wrong.
kept him
Gonna run
from
this
going to
back.
jail. We barely got him from going to jail. They were going to haul his ass off, but
Kevin,
we convinced the cops he was just drunk and screwing around. Let us take him back to the base. He'll be in enough trouble back there. And he was.
Kevin, I've been looking at places like Lehman's where you're supposed to be able to buy these supplies in bulk. They're willing to take your money today, but they say right on the website and in all of the emails that I get one at least every day from them, that the supplies are sold out for this year and there will not be another run. So if you buy them now, you won't get them until sometime next year. I'm sorry, but I'll hold my money, and next year, if there's some, I'll do it that way. Let's
Well.
see. Yeah, lumber it's really gone up. It's amazing.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's
Frankie says taking his backsides off to Joe will make the rest of his body look funny.
yeah, I tell you what, they don't fool around. At least back then. Now this was still when Franco was alive, so it was a different Spain. But all things considered, he didn't mess around with the Gordius Seville, and I have a feeling he still don't.
I agree, Celtic. Amazon, I won't buy jars or lids or any of that stuff from them because they are price gouging like crazy. I was young and some of them tried to talk to me, asked my older sister what they said, and she doesn't matter. She said it doesn't matter.
No is the same in Spanish.
Just to buy a wood pallet is over $400. Holy
Wow.
cow.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you're right, Michelle. Or is it Michelle?
Christy was the one talking about. No,
Oh, no, Kevin was saying everybody's going to have to figure out how they reuse what they've got. That's very true.
I'm still seeing things in the local marketplace where people are giving away wood pallets because they just have too many, and you just walk by and load them in the back of your truck. So you can still get them here, and they can still be used. Yeah, Mr. Paul, the birds are being relatively quiet today. They've squealed a couple of times, but not too bad.
And Michelle, you're absolutely right. When things get tight, people go back to the old tried and trues, don't they? And canning and dehydrating and putting things up started making sense again real quick.
In my area, there's, I don't know, 100 properties or houses, acres for sale. Wow. The first of the year, they're all gone. Yep. Joshua, it's amazing how fast rural property is selling. Yes, Marketplace is a good place. Also, if you have some way of looking for estate sales and garage sales, 2 years ago, I went to an estate sale because it showed a picture of some kitchen things, and there were 3 or 4 canning jars. And when I got there, I went out to the garage where they had all that stuff set up and started looking, and I found over 200 of different sizes of the canning jars, and I paid $50 for the whole lot, and they even threw in some gallon jars. So
So you
check
got
on
some
estate
little
sales.
gift jars, the little 4-ounce ones.
No, he meant our birds.
Food Forest Permaculture. That's
Hello, Howie. Good to see
You
you.
slipped in, want to say hello. And Freaky Geek, hi there. I probably missed other people too. Oh, Celtic's here too.
He's been
I
here
missed
for a
him.
while.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that. Missed you.
That's the reason, Celtic. That's the reason I do the canning videos that I do, is to teach people how to can, because there are so many people out there that really don't know. And I try and make it just as simple as I can. I try to break it down to the basics.
But I got to tell you, the next video that Kate puts up, which I'm hopefully going to work on today, is while she was over in Louisiana, she taught them how to cut up a chicken. And if you're not really, really sure how to cut up a chicken, you need to watch this video.
And it's so
It
easy to
is
do.
one of the best she's ever done as far as showing how to do something right.
It's
And
definitely a how-to. That I hope
it
people
should be
like.
real easy for me to edit. When I've got it on my machine now. I just got it off the camera yesterday, and it shouldn't take me long to put it together. It only runs 14 minutes, so by the time,
Hello,
even with
Ecocentric.
intro and outro, it'll be 15 minutes or so,
Yeah.
and so it won't take forever to upload. It'll be well worth your time to watch that one. It's very, very informative. And
Good
I mean,
artist.
I thought I knew how to cut up a chicken.
Ellie, hopefully it'll be out in
I
a
don't.
couple of days.
I was doing it all wrong too when I'd cut up a chicken.
Whoa,
doing it-
$8.99 a dozen for pint jars. That's awesome.
Well, that's a pretty good price, sure.
That is wonderful.
It'll be up soon, Ellie. I promise. I just got to take.
No, I get,
I got to get the time to make it, and then she's got to upload it.
yeah. I get them for about that from Walmart, but they don't usually have them anymore. And for some, it's loss of a job, not putting up food, I think differently. One of my family properties there is an old dump with hundreds of really old canning jars. She just threw them out if they look bad. I grab some every time I visit Old Kansas Homestead Farm. Yeah, you can get, but you have to be really careful to check them because the glass being that old sometimes has weak spots. So you have to check them, be sure that they don't have chips and that sort of thing. But there's no reason not to use them if they're
Absolutely.
not chipped or broken. Glass does not get bad from from being used.
And Iron Fireworks is right. Lots of people in the area they do have the skills, but right now resources are getting real tight. Thing is, I mean, how long is it going to take for Ball Company and so on to realize there's a resurgence in interest in their products and ramp up their production? It might take 6 months, but I have a feeling that most of these supplies will come back into abundance.
I think so too.
You know,
It's
it just
going to
makes
take a-
I mean, it's like a resurgence of other things that have come along in the past. Where, demand dropped off and then suddenly picked up. Industry kicked in, filled the bill, and then everything was good again. But it took a while.
Michelle, if you have specific questions or you want to learn how to do something, get in touch with me on my email and I'll be happy to answer any questions or give you any hints I can.
$30 a dozen, that's a little outrageous.
That's in Canada.
Well, still, I don't care.
I don't know what the difference is between
I think a
and
Canadian
US.
dollar is worth like 80 cents, but it's still, that's way too much.
Could be.
Some have been shattered.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, blue glass. That's hard to find.
Some glass. Oh, that's cool.
I don't know what glass fermenting pucks
Oh.
are.
There are still some people who do seal jams and jellies with wax instead of the lids. I personally don't do it because I give a lot of my stuff away, and there are people who would not know what to do with that.
And Christie says that Ball won't be reducing more products until March. Wow.
I'm sorry.
But
said-
Christie said that
Oh,
they're
okay.
not going to be releasing any more Ball products until March.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Well, it's going to take them that long to gear up, I guess. They can't be backing off. I mean, that would be stupid. They've got to be trying to figure out some way to get caught up and get ahead.
Buy a 12-pack of quart jars for $10.
$10 Canadian. Okay. Well, I tell you what, you want to make a little extra money, turn around and ship those down here to the States, charge us for postage, and you'll still make some.
I used to can almost exclusively in pint jars because it's just David and me, or my mom and dad. But pint jars are getting really hard to find. And I had, I guess, 3 or 4 dozen quart jars. So when I brought all this chicken back from Louisiana, I made a lot of bone broth out of the necks and the skins and the feet and that sort of thing, which makes an excellent
I think you
bone
said you
broth.
got almost 2 gallons out of it.
I got 10 quarts.
Yep. So,
So-
a little over two and, well,
I
2.5
put those in
gallons.
quarts.
2.5 gallons. That's a lot of, that's, and it was a beautiful broth too. Just beautiful.
Thank you. I think it's a combination of both. Legacy, I think that COVID's shutting everything down. There's no way to move them from one spot to another, from the manufacturer to the end guy. I think part of it is they had to lay off or let people stay home. So it's just a lot of things.
And, you know,
involved.
even for a relatively simple product to make, like, you know, jars and lids, you got supply lines, you got, you know, suppliers that you got to gear up them. And, you know, there's a ripple effect going out and a ripple effect coming back. So hopefully they'll get caught up. Yeah, glass and old cast iron, but it does make sense, doesn't it? Like I said before, you know, the when things start to fall apart, whether it's minor or serious, we drop back to most of the skills and talents and resources that we had here 150 years ago.
Right.
And those are the ones that settled this country, essentially, those technologies. I mean, can you imagine going through the West without cast iron?
No.
You know?
Michelle, I'm sorry to interrupt, honey. Michelle, yes, I use the skin. I use some of the giblets. I use the feet. I use the necks. And a lot of the time I use the backs, because when I butcher, I take everything off the back and then I cut the back in half. So I have two pieces and I separate the neck from the rest of the body.
She's a real backbreaker, trust me.
So yes, I did use all of that, and some of the excess fat went into it as well, because the fat is where the flavor is. So yeah, I used it all.
She doesn't waste much. She didn't waste
I
much.
did not put them in my Instant Pot, although I could have. It makes a wonderful broth in about 3 hours. But I love the way the broth makes the house smell. So I made it the slow old-fashioned way
On her new stove.
on my new stove.
Now that was a necessity.
Yeah.
You know, that was not a planned purchase by any means. That one was just kind of, well, it was in a way.
Right.
We had decided long ago that she needed a new stove, but it wasn't really on top of my shopping list until she couldn't get her canning
My pressure canner was
Pressure
not
canner.
working properly.
wouldn't get up to the right pressure and wouldn't hold it. Well, that tore it right there. So we had to go and get one.
Another thing that I do when I make broth that I did not do this time because I had so much to make is I generally save onion skins, celery leaves, all that kind of thing. The skins that come off of garlic and the ends of the things like that, keep them in a bag in the freezer. And when I make broth, I throw all of that in too, because it makes wonderful flavor to the broth.
Legacy Home and Garden was asking if you made a video on that. You've got a video on broth, don't you? A couple of them?
I think I do. I'll
I
go
think
back
you'll
and
a
look.
couple in her library.
Yeah, I think
And they
there's one
should
there.
be clearly labeled.
You're right.
But there's one on chicken broth there, I'm sure.
You're right, Howie. Broth is very good for folks. Even those that are immunocompromised. I drink the broth every morning because I have IBS.
Even our dog is getting a little bit of that chicken broth too.
Yeah,
So
the
it
dog
does.
even gets it.
Kate's making dog food now, by the way, and that's another thing that for a coming video, because what she makes so far, I mean, these are just it's, you know, rice and chicken,
Right,
peas,
meat of
and
any
carrots, you know, leftover meats and things of that sort, but
kind.
just
They are
about
Celtic.
a lot of other stuff, and then maybe some chicken broth, and Nacho's loving it. His coat is really, really bright.
The cat and the birds are eating it too.
Yeah,
a
and
little bit
they all
now.
like it a little bit. So I think she'll be doing a video on that pretty soon too.
Is Freaky leaving? Oh, take care, Freaky Geek. It was good to see
Yep,
you.
thanks for coming by.
dropping by.
See you later.
Yeah, I love leeks in soups. I think they're wonderful. Of course, I like anything from the onion family. So, and I also like anything from garlic. I like garlic just about any way you can get it. I'm not real fond of eating it just plain and raw. It's a little too strong for me that way. But just about any other way you can fix it, I like it. So,
Yeah, we will have to do a video on critter food.
I will do that. Someone asked earlier if I skinned off the fat. It depends on the amount of fat. The ones that I made this time, I didn't put enough fat in there to really make a difference. I think I tried some this morning for the first time. And I think I probably should have let it cool and skimmed the fat off because it was a little fattier than I wanted. But I just took my spoon and skinned it out of the cup, so it was the same thing.
But, for what you drink, the fat is not so good. But when you're cooking,
Right.
see there, they agree with me.
Hmm?
They agree with me.
Yes, they do. Generally, I use the high fat content for when I make rices because you don't have to add salt, you don't have to add butter. All you have to have is the broth and the rice. And we're in Texas, Legacy. So, as a matter of fact, we're in
South Central, right around San Antonio.
So,
Good place to be.
unless it's 110 in the shade in the summer.
Yep.
Then it's not so wonderful, but the rest of the time it is. Chicken and leeks would be a wonderful soup. Oh, that sounds good.
Yep.
Kate, when I make pinto beans, all the liquid is broth to start. Oh, good idea.
Yep. The
Yep.
salt does come to salt pork. You're right.
If
Yep.
you have salt pork. Sometimes I don't have it, so I use bacon, which is also high
Well, they
salt.
generally have that over at Pinchhorns if you get really serious, don't they?
I'm sorry?
Don't they usually have salt pork over at Pinchhorns?
Yes, yes. Our local meat market
There's a-
usually.
There's a meat
Yep.
market just down the road from us that's a real old-fashioned family meat market that's been there for, God, 50
Julie, I would
years.
love it if you could come and visit us. That would be wonderful.
Yep. But you can get really good stuff over there.
Christy, not only is Country Girl from Houston, but Mama Z is from Mama Z's Kitchen is from a little town just outside of Houston called Conroe. Matter of fact, when I drive from here to Louisiana, I wave out the window to both of them as I go through Houston. Legacy, I want to try growing some. I grew some when I was a kid, but it's been a long time. I love pinto beans. I always make Mexican cornbread with my pinto. Kevin, is your Mexican cornbread with peppers in it? That would be my problem, is I cannot do anything with pepper. Salt pork now is not old-fashioned. Yeah. No, like I said, I usually use whatever pork I have. When we get a ham, I usually put the ham leavings in a container in the freezer so that when I make beans, I've got lots of pork to go in them. And I have been known on more than one occasion to fry bacon and then pull the bacon grease out of the pan and put it in a jar in the fridge because that's wonderful for frying things. I'm also using schmaltz to fry a lot, especially eggs. And for those of you that don't know, schmaltz
Cornbread is Jiffy Mix. Yeah.
Schmaltz is chicken fat.
Schmaltz?
Been rendered, but it's chicken fat. Used to hide in the back and close my eyes when we went through Dallas.
Cream, corn, cheese, onions, and such. That sounds like a pretty good cornbread there.
Yeah, it does. Irene, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming by.
Yes.
You take care, and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
maybe next time.
Always good to have everybody here. So thank you for coming. Take care of yourself. Used to hide in the back and close my eyes when we went through Dallas.
Yeah. Dallas is
Yeah,
a hard
that's
place
a-
to drive through.
Dallas and Houston are pretty rough towns to drive through.
It's even harder than Houston. Houston used to give me nightmares when I knew I was going to have to drive through it. But the last 3 or 4 times I've gone through, I've just breezed right on through with no problem.
Well, when you're staying on Interstate 10, you're not going off in any direction. You're just get in the middle lane and keep on trucking.
Except that going through Houston, the middle lane is not always
Well,
by 10. It changes.
Yeah, but one of the things that I like about driving through Houston, at least, is they've got what highway you're on
On the
printed
road.
on the road.
Yeah.
So you're not always, you might not see an overhead, but it's right there on the road in front of you too. So
Devin says Atlanta and DC are worse. Never driven in either one of
Atlanta,
those.
you're
Thank
right.
goodness.
Atlanta absolutely sucks. I've driven through there a few times. It's crazy. And if you go downtown, oh my God. I don't know how they do it. It's just absolutely, it's chaos. It really is. It just makes no sense. Now, DC, I didn't drive there, took taxis, but just the way you look at the way DC is laid out, it's nuts.
Atlanta is the worst.
Atlanta is bad. I got to admit, Atlanta is bad. Now, it's been decades since I've driven in California, so I don't even count that.
I've never driven in California,
I'll
but
tell
I
you
rode
what.
in it once, and that was enough.
I survived driving in Izmir, Turkey.
Come to Charleston,
In-
interstate. It's 3 levels. Ours is 3 and 4 levels in some places.
Yep.
Celtic.
And over in Madrid, Spain, and in rural Turkey. That's a real feat to endure your driving there and come away unscathed. It's nuts. No rules.
Kind of like on the Autobahn in Germany.
Oh no, Autobahn has got millions of rules.
Really?
Oh God, yes.
I was told
That's
they
the
didn't.
most.
I don't know.
Well, you don't have a speed limit, but it's you don't stay in that left lane unless you're passing, because somebody will come up on you and they'll lay on you with their lights and their horn and everything else.
They're getting that way on I-10
It's
too.
against the law to block the traffic in the left. I mean, against the law.
Mm.
And if you do it, people will pile up on you.
It was
and
totally
give you a
accepted
what
to be
for.
over an hour late. Everyone else was stuck in the same.
Yeah.
So far, only thing I don't like up in Tennessee, they drive really fast on winding 2-lane roads.
Yeah. What if a cow runs out? No, I don't do that.
Yeah, only when we would go down to the lighthouse. When we
Well,
lived in
no, I
Florida.
didn't expect any cows to jump out at me there either. But
No,
yeah, I
people might.
going
right there.
from Tallahassee down to the lighthouse, which was
St. Mark.
St. Mark's Lighthouse, is a beautiful little drive. It's kind of twisty turny and it's through swamp, and
It's only 2 lanes.
it's the kind of countryside that unless you've lived in the deep south around the bayous, you've never seen it before, and it is totally unique, and you don't realize that until you're gone from there, and then you look back on what it looked like, and you think, wow, that was really some strange looking terrain.
Yes.
But anyway, the little road that went down to St. Mark's was a 2-lane road, and it was just fun to drive fast in a little Mazda 3. It was just fun to drive.
At least we have coyotes here, and there are deer, but you don't see them very often because we're getting so urbanized around here. How are you right? Keep your A game on when you're driving in Tennessee or anywhere else.
Yep. That's for sure.
You have to watch out for deer and the occasional crazy dude walking out in the middle of the Yes, that's what I was always worried about when we went to the lighthouse, because people would park in the rest areas and either go walk or go ride their bikes down the middle of the road. And you come around one of those corners screaming along, and you never know what's going to be around that corner.
But at the same time, you also pull up and park in the middle of their front yard.
Yes.
So, that's kind of weird down there in Florida anyway. When I was living in the Midwest, somebody come over to see you, they parked on the curb or, took great pains to not get over your property line. Not in Florida, man. Somebody will come driving up right in the middle of your front yard and get out of the car.
Yep.
That's just the way you do it. It's very strange.
They sort of do that here, but only because we have a circular shaped driveway,
Yeah.
and they pull off on the side of the driveway
Yep.
because there's no place else for them to go. Take care, Celtic. It was good to see you.
Yeah, I figured you'd agree with that, Kevin. It's something you do notice if you've been elsewhere and you go to Florida and you start noticing everything is just parked in the front yard, whether it's drivable or not. Well, now West Palm, that's a different story. I'm talking about
About their yard.
I'm talking about up north in southern Georgia, up around Tallahassee.
That's the only part of Florida I know anything about. I never lived in any other part of it.
Well, the area from, say, Pensacola almost over to Jacksonville, which is pretty much border to border on the long peninsula there. Life is a little more relaxed,
Yes.
and going south down to maybe as far as Orlando. Once you get north of Orlando, it's kind of a different Florida.
Yeah.
Especially once you get down by Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
If you get by Tampa and Miami, that's a whole other area. Anyway,
Some folks say their
you have
IQ
to
is
holler
smaller
out when
than
you visit
shoe
folks in the
size.
country of Alabama. Yeah.
You have to holler out when you visit folks in the country in Alabama. Yep. Ellie says, when we're on a winding road in upstate New York, came around the bend and there was a flock of wild turkeys. Right. I hope you got dinner out of that.
Wow.
Like that at my property in North Florida. I really believe the vehicles just died right.
Some of them, I think you're right. They just, well, we lived in a little community that was just about 10 miles south of Tallahassee when Kate and I were there. And it was a strange mixture. You might have a $300,000 house, and right next to it you'd have a double wide that had seen better days, with an old mangled shed next to it, a couple of messed up old beat up trucks or car shells, and a pile of junk in the middle of the yard. And I'm talking like axles out of trucks, wood, scrap of all kinds, right next to this home on this perfectly sculpted lot that is easily worth $250,000.
No zoning laws. in
Didn't
that
make any
area.
difference.
No zoning laws at all. in
Didn't
that
make
area.
any difference. So you saw some strange things on the properties down there in Florida.
Happy Sunday to you too, Howie. Are you
Yeah.
heading out?
You heading out, Howie? Or is he? Oh, maybe he's just saying hi to everybody else because he's been quiet a while.
Could be. Could be.
Oh,
Oh, good.
good to not leave.
Good. By the way, I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but we have a person who comes in here most Sundays. His name is Sean. He's North Shore Preparedness. I think that's his channel name. He bought a webcam yesterday, and he plugged it in to do a test to see if it would work, and ended up staying on for 2+ hours live stream. And at one point he had over 40 people there.
Wow.
So if you see Sean, talk to him about his live stream. He's going to be doing a lot more of those because now that he has a camera that can do it. He lives alone and he does not have any knowledge or skill at doing editing of his videos. So he just turns on the camera and
Just
uploads
streams
it as it
live?
goes. Pardon?
Streams live?
Yep.
Wow.
And when he does a video, he just starts it and goes all the way through to the end and then uploads it as a video. No editing to it because he doesn't know how and no one else that he knows how. So that's kind of what that chicken cutting up video will be. But you will do some editing to
I'll
it.
do a little editing, but actually, part that I'm going to leave in there is after you all were done,
Mm-hmm.
you had a very interesting little conversation
Oh.
before you turned the camera off.
Oh,
You and
okay.
Amy did. They were just talking back and forth about cutting up a chicken.
Mhm.
I think I'm going to probably leave that in there.
Good. We need some real stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, not that cutting up
But-
a chicken isn't real, but still.
I wish you'd have checked your camera while you were working because you cut off the top of your frame a little bit. But I
Oh.
mean,
I'm sorry. I've got some more chickens in there. I can thaw one out and cut
we'll-
it up
we'll-
again.
we might do that because
Okay.
I mean
And you can do the video.
this one's fine. I mean, there's not a thing wrong with it.
Okay.
But it would have just been, like if you were holding up the breast and the tender,
Mhm.
and you couldn't quite see it because it was just out of frame, and you were showing it to the camera.
Sorry,
Just little things. But
I couldn't check the camera because I had chicken all over my
well,
hands.
I notice I'm not. Now, maybe Amy could have adjusted it, but
No, she had chicken all over her hands
Okay,
too.
in any case, it made no difference because it's still understandable and you can see everything you need to see.
Good.
But the director in me is critical of the camera angle. That's
Well, I
all.
tried very hard before we started to get it lined up so that you could see my hands and the cutting board I was working on.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It'll be a good video. We'll
I
do the
should've
best
just
we can
backed
with
out
it.
a little bit so you could see
We'll do the
more.
best we can with it. But it's very educational. If you guys do take the time to watch it, and she explains how to do it very well, and shows you exactly how to do what needs to be done. And at the end of the day, she had a very nicely cut up chicken. So anyway,
People realize just how easy it is. to
yeah,
make chicken
exactly.
breast.
Yeah,
Yes, people
You know?
buy these skinless, boneless chicken breasts for multiple dollars. They could buy a whole chicken for a quarter of what they pay on a package of chicken breast, cut it up themselves, and have a lot more for the same amount of money.
Christy, I understand your situation. You know, at harvesting critters. The only thing I can say, and